Welcome to Spectrum TV News at 12. I am Uyai Aniekan, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the major stories. FEC approves Human Rights Protection Action Plan. Executive Secretary Akwa Ibom State PHCDA Enoata calls for regular immunization in the state. Plus, US and South Korea agree key nuclear weapons deal. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Thanks for joining us. First in the news this afternoon is a report that the Federal Executive Council has approved Action Plan 2020 to 2026 with the aim of advancing Nigeria's position in the observance of international best practices of human rights. The Attorney General of the Federal, according to him, no government has observed human rights in its dealings with Nigerians like the Buhari-led administration, noting that the approval was based on the memorandum on policy relating to human rights, which he presented to the council. The AGF recalled that 130 million naira was awarded to the family of has expressed optimism that the proposed national carrier, Nigeria Air, would commence operation before May 29, 2023. Recall that a federal high court sitting in Lagos had ordered the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, not to issue an Air Operator Certificate, AOC, to Nigeria Air Limited, following a suit filed by a group of domestic airliners. The domestic airline operators had, under the aegis of the Airline Operators of Nigeria, AON, to lend percent, while the remaining 46% is for Nigerian investors. Sirika added that everything needed for operations to commence has been put in place, assuring that the planned takeoff would still happen. On judicial matters, the Supreme Court will today hear the case of Nnamdi Kanu, indigenous people of Biafra IPOB. The case is said to have been adjourned by the leader. The case is said to have been adjourned by the court this morning. The sectionist had on November 3rd, 2022, filed an appeal at the Supreme Court against the Court of Appeals ruling halting his release from the DSS custody. Kalu appealed against the 28th October 2022 decision of the Court of Appeal, which stayed the execution of its earlier order acquitting him of all charges and directing his release from the custody of secret police. The Supreme Court has adjourned the hearing of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, till next month. Ahead of his inauguration as Nigeria's president on May 29, 2023, Tinubu and the Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima are expected to stay at the Defense House, where they will move into the presidential villa after the swearing-in. The Defense House is the official In another development, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, LP, Peter Obi, has accused the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of being partial. The LP candidate was replying a preliminary objection filed by INEC at the tribunal, which appeared to be in support of the candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, now the President-elect Bola Tinubu. In the case before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, Obi faulted the electoral body for standing by Tinubu. He noted that both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal had in the past cautioned INEC to place itself in a place of neutrality, remain fair and focused. Away from that, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Zubairu Dada, has said that no Nigerian life has been lost so far in the crisis engulfing Sudan. He stated this at a media briefing after the Federal Executive Council meeting, noting that the federal government had already perfected plans to evacuate over 5,000 citizens in the war-torn country. Dada noted that the first batch of Nigerians have been conveyed, hinting that citizens will be key in the evacuation process. In education, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps in Kano State has deployed 422 personnel to said this in an interview with newsmen in Kano. He explained that the officers were deployed to the examination centers to monitor the exercise and to provide security at the designated centers. According to him, the command deployed 2 officers to each of the 37 centers across the state to ensure a heat-free exercise. Agency, Dr. Enoata, has called on parents in the state to make available their children for regular immunization. Atta made the call in commemoration of the World Immunization Week celebrated in the last week of April, with the aim of highlighting the collective action needed to protect people from vaccine-preventable diseases. Speaking with Spectrum Television on this year's theme, Catch Up, she said the primary healthcare is accelerating rapid progress. Executive Secretary added that the exercise is free and would continue even after the immunization week.
It's just a reminder of how effective that has been and then what we can do going forward. So the theme for this year is Catch Up. And so we're trying to catch up on all the missed children that haven't had their right immunizations. Please go out there, avail yourself of what is there for you at the primary healthcare facilities. Once the vaccines are there, please go and take your vaccinations, and they're free. It's just a reminder of how effective that has.
We move now to Africa, where the Sudanese army has expressed its willingness to extend a 3-day ceasefire that is due to expire today, as diplomats step up talks to end fighting between forces loyal to rival military generals. The outbreak of violence has reportedly left more than 400 follows an initial proposal from the Regional African Bloc Intergovernmental Authority on Development. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said he spoke to the African Union Commission chairperson Moussa Faki Mahamat on a collaboration to create a sustainable cessation of hostilities and end the fighting. It is 72-hour ceasefire largely holding. Media reports from Abdouman, the city adjoining the capital Khartoum, had it that fighting broke out near TV and radio buildings. According to reports, there is no fuel, lack of doctors, and people are struggling to access food and money. On the foreign scene, the US and South Korea have allegedly secured a landmark deal to counter the North Korean nuclear threat. Washington has reportedly agreed to periodically deploy U.S. to not develop its own nuclear weapons. The U.S. President Joe Biden said the Washington Declaration will strengthen the allies' cooperation in deterring a North Korean attack. Meanwhile, the South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, who was at the White House for a state visit, said the Washington Declaration marked an unprecedented commitment by the U.S. to enhance defense, deter attacks, and protect U.S. allies by using nuclear weapons. Still on the foreign scene, Ukrainian authorities have said that the Russian missile attack on Mykolaiv today was launched from the Black Sea and targeted civilian buildings were injured, including a child. The Ukrainian Army's Operational Command South noted that 4 missiles were launched using terrain features and trajectory changes to complicate detection. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed the attack on his Telegram, adding that it is a crime against humanity. 4-1 to move 2 points in Premier League. Do stay with us for details of this and more after the break.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news. In business, the United Nations has disclosed that the shortage of the naira in recent times crippled the Nigerian economy. The United Nations disclosed this in its Conference on Trade and Development, noting that shortage of cash triggered by the replacement of the highest denominations of the country's currency hobbled the economy, especially the informal sector. According to the organization, the general African economy is projected to expand 2.5%, which is a drop from last year and is insufficient to curtail poverty levels on the continent. It explained that this is as a result of weaker external demand and tighter financial conditions, adding that many African economies are at risk of stagflation in 2023, with half of African countries recording double-digit inflation in early 2023. Still in business, the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Limited (NLNG) has said that gas demand in Nigeria will increase by 50% in the next 30 years. The managing director of NLNG Limited, Phillips Mishiliba, while delivering an address at the 13th edition of the Nigerian Gas Association International Conference in Abuja, said the country's gas demand was growing, noting that Nigeria's consumption of liquefied petroleum gas has increased by over 2,500% from 60,000 metric tons in 2007 to over 1.3 million metric tons in 2021. According to him, the country would need to set aside about $2 billion annually to achieve the decade of gas, after which it would need to partner with the private sector for additional funding.
We built the biggest refinery in the world. We have no power. Again, rather than fix the problem, we all go out and we buy generators. We don't have water flowing in our taps. We all go out and we drill we have never seen before. Prices last August were a record, never seen before. This was the period we're having the lowest gas supply ever. So we could not be there to play in that market.
Now, in health, the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has alerted Nigerians about a suspected substandard cough syrup called Natural Cold. The cough syrup, which is said to be manufactured by Franken Group, is reported to have caused the deaths of 6 children under the age of 5 at a health facility in the health district of Fundong in the northwest region of Cameroon. According to the delegate for public health in the northwest region of Cameroon, the children showed a decrease in kidney function after consuming the suspected substandard cough syrup. NAFDAC, in a press statement on its website, said that the product is not in its database but has advised importers, distributors, retailers and consumers to exercise caution and vigilance within the supply chain to avoid the importation, distribution, sale and use of the substandard. The agency added that members of the public should desist from purchasing medicinal products from unauthorized sources such as roadside vendors and street hawkers, as fake drugs are mostly smuggled into the country from neighboring countries and distributed through such inappropriate channels. Still on health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC) says it has recorded 152 deaths from Lassa fever in Nigeria so far this year. In its 15th week Lassa fever situation report, the NCDC said there had been a total of 877 confirmed cases recorded from 26 states and 101 local government areas from January 1st to April 16, 2023. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization says Lassa fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic illness caused by the Lassa virus and is known to be endemic in Benin, Ghana, Guinea, Liberia, Mali, Sierra Leone, Togo, and Nigeria. In sports, Manchester City delivered a masterclass 4-1 win to overwhelm Premier League leaders Arsenal and strike a huge psychological blow in the title race at Etihad Stadium. The confrontation, billed as a potential title decider, turned into an embarrassingly one-sided affair. Pep Guardiola's side, now 2 points behind Arsenal with 2 games in hand, were inspired by the devastating partnership of Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne. City can go top with victory at Fulham on Sunday, while Arsenal must somehow pull out of a slump that has seen them go 4 league games without a win at a crucial stage of the season. Meanwhile, in other fixtures, Chelsea lost their 5th successive game since the return of Frank Lampard, as Brentford won at Stamford Bridge to strengthen their position in the Premier League's top 10, while Liverpool beat West Ham 2-1. Still in sports, Liverpool came from a goal down to win at West Ham and boost their hopes of securing European football next season. The Hammers took a 12th-minute lead when Lucas Paqueta, after playing a 1-2 with Mikel Antonio, fired from 20 yards out past Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson. But the advantage lasted less than 6 minutes before Cody Gakpo equalized with his own shot from outside the penalty area as an unmarked Joel Matip scored what proved to be the winner in the 67th minute with a powerful header from Andy Robertson's corner from the left. On our entertainment news, Afrobeat sensation Davido has announced a 2-week North American tour in support of his chart-topping album, Timeless. The megastar took to his Instagram to reveal the tour schedule and announced that tickets will go on sale starting Friday. The highly anticipated tour comes on the heels of the release of Davido's 4th album, which features 17 tracks and had dropped on March 31st, 2023. Reports say the tour is set to hit 6 cities, including Washington, D.C., Houston, Chicago, Boston, and Toronto from July 1st to 15, 2023. The actor and radio personality refused to take the blame for the collapse of his marriage to the mother of 2. The San Diego, California native, aged 42, began dating Carrie in 2008 when he appeared in the video for her single Bye Bye, with the couple getting married later in the year in the Bahamas. Cannon and the songstress welcomed their children, twins, Moroccan and Monroe, in 2011. The pair separated in 2014, with Carrie later filing divorce papers. Amid the finalization of their split in 2016, the pair agreed on joint custody of their children, who are now 11. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. At this point, we'll be rejoining Channels Television for the unveiling of the regimental column by the President of the Federal Republic, President Muhammadu Buhari. My name is Uyai Anyekan. Have a good day.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.